Great. So my name's Lachlan. I live in Botcherby in Carlisle, and I organise and run the Carlisle Repair Cafe. So me and a group of about 6 or 7 volunteers set up in the local community centre, provide free tea and coffee, and we fix people's stuff completely for free. And the idea is by fixing people's stuff, we stop them throwing their stuff away and buying new stuff, and that avoids all the carbon associated with the production of new things. So I probably, like most people, was trying to do my best. I was recycling, I was cycling wherever I could, thinking about transport and things like that, but it kind of wasn't enough. And I was like thinking about solar panels and an electric car, but I couldn't afford them. And there's so much other stuff associated with those things. Like if you buy an electric car, where's the lithium for the battery coming from? It takes a lot of energy to build the car in the first place. And I went to this talk by Cumbria Action for Sustainability at Reghead, and there was a person there that explained the concepts of a repair cafe, and something just clicked in my head, and I was like, this makes so much sense. There's absolutely no losers here. Everything that you're doing is fantastic. It's fantastic for the environment, it's fantastic for the community, it's just all round wins. So I went to the one in Penrith. They've had one in Penrith for quite a while, and I sort of spent the day with them, and at the end of the day I was like, that's it, I'm doing it. So I spoke to CAFS, and they gave me a grant, like a lottery funded grant. I spoke to Sustainable Carlisle, and they helped me out with things like insurance. And I spoke to the local community centre, and like a month later I had some volunteers and we were off. I think just think, about everything in your life and everything that you do and buy. Everything's got an associated, it's either sustainable or not sustainable, or somewhere along that scale, And if you just think and you're careful, and I get really passionate about little things, like biking to a friend's place, or recycling pots in the garden or things like that. It's just thinking and getting involved, and definitely repair your stuff.
So I do a lot of protesting. I went to COP26, which is amazing. I did my own climate strike in Whitehaven. I do a lot of beach cleans because it's fun. And I'm an environmental officer in my school because of all the work I did to get recycling. I've got water refill stations, planted 500 trees, and I don't know, yeah. Well, I saw a lot of stuff on plastic pollution in the media, and I didn't know how big of an issue that was, and kind of no one was talking about it, so I thought, I'm gonna have to do something because no one else is. So I started getting my family involved and telling them, get reusable bottles, all this, like get rid of all plastic, and seeing all like the animals going extinct, and that's because of us, made me quite emotional, because I just thought, how can I stop that? I'm part of the human race. I don't want to be part of killing things and killing what is our home, what we survive on. So yeah. So I went to COP26, which was absolutely amazing. I think there was like 200,000 there. I can't remember the figure, but it was just really empowering, because being somewhere like this, you don't meet a lot of people unless you put yourself out here and do projects like this. You don't meet a lot of people that have the same passions, so you kind of feel a bit isolated and feel like you've got to do it all yourself. I mean, I always think I could be doing more because I don't meet the people that are doing more, so I always think it's my responsibility. But going to COP and seeing all the different groups doing things, and it was just amazing. I was leading chants, let all my anger out, and it was just absolutely incredible. So if you're thinking about protesting, do it, because you might think, one person's not going to make a difference, but one person might meet you, you might change your life because of it. So educate yourself on it. It's quite a lot, because it's not really in the school curriculum enough, and people don't talk about it enough as they should, but just really find stuff out for yourself. Tell your family about it, educate people that don't want to be educated. I stood in Whitehaven doing a climate strike with just me and my dad and my friends later on. And Whitehaven, majority of people want a coal mine, so obviously I didn't really think they'd want to be educated, but it's surprising how many people will listen to you and might change just from one little conversation. Obviously once you've educated yourself, don't just think, that's sad, and do nothing. You've got to do something, because if everyone said someone else will do it, someone's better than me, then not a single thing would change, and it'll be a lot worse than this.
Great, yes, so I'm Ursula. I do plastic packaging basically. I work against plastic packaging by using it for art, and taking it out of circulation in that sense, because I was like working with wool, like I was doing this kind of thing. I was like encircling trees with wool, and then kind of also show underground tree networks, the kind of root networks, to show how, you know, the hidden world of nature works. But then I thought, actually plastic is massive. I mean, actually this is plastic, this is acrylic, but this is waste as well, because I got it from a really good independent shop. They're great with the Woolly Mammoth in Workington, but she gets, and other people, they get waste wool from the industry, from the big ones, and they would throw it away if they didn't give it to the smaller ones, because it's either the wrong color or it's not enough of same color. So all of this is considered waste, which is crazy. So yeah, so it's rescuing kind of industrial waste and household waste. This, for example, is a shortbread tray, so there was biscuits in there, and then these are pen tops in here, and then I have like things from the beach as well, and then these are mushroom trays, mushroom tubs, and this is actually called socket, because it's a bit of a socket which I found on the beach, because I live near the beach in Maryport. And this as well, and you know, so there's various ones of these, and I have them in like different exhibitions, including I'm Artist of the Month at the moment in a plastic-free shopping shop in Newcastle called By the Kilo. And sadly I realized that the plastic-free shopping shop in Carlisle has closed down, which is, so maybe I can big up plastic-free shopping, and any plastic we have, which sadly we do a lot of. But yeah, then we should take it out of circulation. But industry uses plastic as well. So this was a tray which I rescued from a supermarket. And so these were Easter rabbits, and they used to be on cardboard trays, and now it's plastic. It's crazy to actually go against the trend of trying to do something for the planet. And so I'm using, so it's industrial rubbish and household rubbish, and stitched with yarn, considered rubbish by the industry. So it's all, you know, art from rubbish. So what inspired me is that yeah, plastic pollution is massive. I mean, and also especially because I'm on the ocean, you know, on the sea, but the plastic in the oceans is just next door to me because I'm next to the sea, and animals are dying they get, you know, wound up in fishing stuff. And this is, for example, you know, fishing rope. So I've got all sorts of things. This is fishing rope, this is fishing rope, this one. So all of these things, and you know, this is fishing stuff as well. And all sorts of dangerous things. I thought, oh, everything that's dangerous I make into art, or actually anti-art, because it's not supposed to exist, but it's in the meantime art kind of thing. And so that's inspired me, and I have a caption actually called Plastic Talk, taking plastic packaging out of circulation. So I spent a day at COP26, and the Fringe was actually very inspiring as well. And I mean, you know, for example, I was already vegetarian, but I'm moving more vegan. Like, that's another angle, you know. So, yeah, so that was inspiring as long as you weren't at the official conference. The fringe was good, yeah. Basically, what others can do is, I think we should get into more like community action, and like, for example, I'd love to take this into like project as well, so that, you know, like if we had a space together, we could like work and do stuff with plastic, and you know, make artwork out of it together, and like make art not waste kind of thing. And for example, I mean, this, you know, this, I didn't say this, these are yogurt pots, for example, you know, the yogurt pots were in there, and these are like nets from like plums and onions and stuff. So all of this we could actually count. Oh yes, it's being counted this week, isn't it? That's the big plastic count, which was initiated by a guy who has counted his plastic use for 1 year, which is amazing. So we're counting this week, I think, actually, and I'm actually counting beyond household, but you know, industrial, like I was saying. And there was oh yes, and then initiatives. Leeds has a great initiative on creative arts in sustainability, because the arts are so good in tackling sustainability. I mean, science could do a lot as well, and some are, but some aren't. But then, because we aren't scientists, the arts is a good way to get into the conversation, actually, and move to a kind of platform, because we do things. So it's very empowering as well, actually.
And I managed to buy a house when I was about 25, I think. And I saved up as much money, didn't have a car, to try and pay it off. And what I did is I learnt from my landlord when I was a student in Newcastle, George. He let his house to lodgers, so I thought my terraced house, I could take in art students from the local college. So that's what I did. So basically, I've shared my house with students. They used to complain that it was a bit of a fridge because, you know, like old wood windows and very drafty. So I responded to their demands, and I put in double glazing, and then as the years went on, I improved the insulation properties. I put loft insulation in. That was one of the first things, and bolted it up in the loft, and then I did the insulation under the floor, which is quite a hard task to do, but crawled under the floor, and that makes a big difference as well to drafts coming in. Things like insulating the doors, you know, just draft excluders and things like that. That helped. And then after that, I went on to solar panels as well. So I've managed to put solar panels on the roof, and that reduces obviously the bills, and helps keep costs down for the students. And then more recently, as technology has improved, the insulation products are coming along, and I've tried now to insulate the external walls of the house inside the house. It's a very messy job, and it's done when the students aren't there over the summer months, and that makes a huge difference to the heating costs. It retains the heat. Once you've heated the house up, then the heat's retained much better, and the bills are reduced by a huge amount. So that's what I've done. I'm trying to make these terraced houses in Carlisle, because there's so many terraced houses in Carlisle. I'm trying to almost like improve the stock of the quality of the houses in Carlisle, and that's what I'd like to see happen throughout the city. And sharing the house with the art students, I mean, some of their artistic qualities, I think, has just started to rub off on me, and I've started to write poetry, and I display it. It's haiku poetry, and I display it on white cotton tapes, a bit like these. Trying to be ecologically friendly as well in terms of what you use to display your art. So I use cotton and wool, and when I make my displays, for instance, I use wood, natural products, cotton fabrics, and that in haiku poems, they were a tradition that's based in Japan, and so I've drawn on some old Japanese traditions relating to ecology. For instance, there's a tradition called furoshiki where they wrap in natural products, cotton, and so I've taken that on board in my displays, and it's more to do with what we wear, how we wrap ourselves, as well as how we wrap other products and things. I can see, I just love the natural environment, and when you hear that that it's being destroyed by pollution, particularly, then it's obvious that you need to try and do as much as you can in your own life to adapt to that. So I mean, now I hear about those same, if I did the same walk again 40 years later, I'd find that the glaciers have almost disappeared. And that's a terrible thing. So so anything really that I can do to help. There's no way I would ever buy a car again, for instance, even though there may be electric. Electric still has to be produced in some way. So if you can walk, as soon as I sold my car, I walked, I cycled, and now as I've got a little bit older, I use the buses all the time to go all over the county, all over the city, as well as walking. Just walking in the environment is an inspiration enough to want to keep it as it is, and to increase the natural environment as well. Well, I think in Carlisle there's so many old terraced houses. They're over 100 years old. They're very, very difficult to insulate. There's a big student population in Carlisle. A lot of the student houses are terraced houses. So really, it's about trying to persuade as many people as possible, whether they're their owners or they let the houses out to students, to insulate them, so that the bills are coming down, so that the gas and electric bills come down. It's a difficult thing to do, but you can do the basic insulation, loft insulation. Solar panels are another thing that will reduce the electric costs. But insulating inside the house, it's quite a messy business. So really, it needs to be done when the students are away during the summer months. But it can be done. It doesn't take too long. The house can be redecorated, and gradually, I'd like to see all the terraced houses in Carlisle become well insulated houses. The government at the moment are talking about an EPC, an Energy Performance Certificate rating of C, and most terraced houses in Carlisle are not that. But as I said, I've managed to get mine up to a C rating, and so I'd like to see them all do that, and it would reduce the energy consumption of the whole city if that was done.